All right, so on today's edition of My Wife Can't Drive and Doesn't Hit Curbs, we're going to be replacing the inner wheel lining on a 2020 Chevy Blazer. Basically, clearly, she hit something here and actually ripped a hole down the center. So we got our new one here that we're going to be putting in. Unfortunately, the 2020 Blazer doesn't come with a jack, and my jack is maxed out there. So I was going to take the wheel off to try and make this a little bit easier. But I think as far as it's got the suspension raised up, I think we'll be able to get in there and actually get this out. All you're going to do is you're going to remove 8 of these H15 screws from around the outside. And then if this little mud flap isn't too damaged, which it looks like it might be, you're just going to need a 10mm socket to take that off and then go ahead and attach it to the new one. So we'll go ahead and get started here. All right, so it actually looks like I was wrong. One of those is actually going to pull out. It's not going to be a screw, so we'll have to pop that off and probably run down to AutoZone. I'll tell you at the end, or put in the link in the description what the part number on that ends up being. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get the others, which we're going to need to switch to a socket. And you guys kind of get the idea. I'm not going to sit here and record me taking every single one out, but to get in a hard to reach area, just take a socket wrench and then put your bit on the socket and you'll be able to get in there a little bit better. I'll come back when this is off. So once you get all the screws out, I'm going to have a couple more that I'm going to have to take out because they're behind where this part was ripped. But you're going to have these kind of one-time use push pins, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this up in there to show you, but basically you're just going to take like a flathead screwdriver and you're just going to pry or twist and pry whatever it can get there. Actually, it looks like it just unscrews. That's nice. Never mind. You can take a flathead screwdriver and just stick it in there. You don't have to pry it off. That makes things a lot easier. That way you can reuse this. Okay. So you just screw that off. I believe there's also one there that might be a screw. Not sure until we actually pull this off, but either way, you just unscrew it like you did everything else. And then to actually get this out of here, it's got a cut in the middle. So it should be pretty easy to just start from one side and just pop right down. And hopefully we're gonna be able to get it over the tire here. Screw somewhere. All right, so there's one. Yep. One we forgot is underneath, and this will be dependent on if you have a mud flap or not. But one of the mud flap 10mm hex bolts actually comes in to the frame here. So we will just remove that and then we'll be able to pull this. Alright, so once you get all those out, you can finally start working the assembly out. Maybe. There you go. So what we'll do now is kind of inspect this a little bit and see if it'll be worth trying to put back on the new one. It's got a little bit of damage, but I think we can reuse it and it'll still look all right. We can always replace them later if we decide we want to put another one on. So pretty easy. Just gonna Allen this off. Save those bolts, and then we'll go ahead and put everything, or slip the new one back in. All right, so I got my wife taking the mud flap off. I'm actually going to put this back in there before we put it on. I won't show us screwing everything in just because it's kind of dark. You're not going to be able to see anything anyways. But basically you're just going to slip this first side over the tire, and hopefully that'll get back in there. And then once that's over, you should be able to slide this other side in. Just like so. You'll line all your holes up and then screw everything back down. It looks like, just so that I have a final count here, we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the H15 hex screws. One just push in that you have to pry out, and then one that'll screw back on a point there. So I'll go ahead and put these back in. Sorry this wasn't necessarily the best video. It's kind of dark out here, and I know it's been a while since I uploaded, but hopefully this helps someone out there.